Chelsea are going to be scary. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. Chelsea are building something frightening. Estevão Willian, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto,
clipping it, Neto!
Alejandro Garnacho, João Pedro, Liam Delap, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Malo Gusto, Reece James, and Marc Cucurella. A squad that has already delivered a Club World Cup, the Conference League, competed in the Champions League and gone toe-to-toe with Europe's biggest giants. And they didn't just compete, they dominated. Their victims include FC Barcelona under Hansi Flick, and the reigning Premier League champions Liverpool. And yet, as we all know, that still wasn't enough for Enzo Maresca to keep his job. Now the bench belongs to Liam Rosenior, a young, relatively unknown manager, but those who truly understand football know the potential this coach has. Don't believe me?
I think Liam is as good a coach, and I'm being truthful on this, I've ever worked with. He's more than capable of going into Chelsea and doing a great job. Liam was so important for me, firstly, when I went into Derby as manager, because I'd never coached. I was doing my badges at the time and I'd never coached, and Liam was incredible in his coaching ability. I was more of the manager and dealing with players and everything. So I learnt a lot from him. Young English managers don't really get that chance, and he's gone and he's worked and he's put the work in, and it'd be great to see him get that opportunity, because I think he'd be very good.
And the results back it up. In League One, Rosenior has built one of the most balanced teams in France. His side have scored 26 goals, conceded just 21, making them the 6th best defence in the league.
Done. It's Pino. Can he make it two? Saved by Pendes. Another.
And sits 7th, with 7 wins, 3 draws and 7 defeats. He achieved all of that with a squad valued at €321 million. Now imagine what he can do with a squad worth €1.18 billion, packed with players perfectly suited to amplify his ideas. Pay close attention to what this manager can do, because this is where things start to get scary. Liam Rosenior was born in London, England, on the 9th of September 1984, and also holds Sierra Leonean nationality. As a player, he was a defender who featured for clubs like Hull City, Brighton, Ipswich Town and Fulham. He retired in 2018 and, after a short spell as a pundit, immediately began his coaching journey. His first step came as an assistant coach at Brighton, where he started building his tactical foundations. In 2019, Rosenior moved to Derby County, where he worked closely with Wayne Rooney. He earned Rooney's trust and took part as assistant coach in 73 matches, gaining valuable experience in a demanding environment. His real test arrived in 2021, when he took full charge of Hull City. His work there was convincing, and in the 2023-2024 championship season, he guided Hull to a strong 7th place finish, narrowly missing out on the promotion playoffs and showing clear progress under his leadership. That upward curve led to his appointment at Strasbourg, a sister club of Chelsea under the Blue Co umbrella. Rosenior arrived at a mid-table French side whose best days seemed long gone, and the reaction was hostile. Many fans were furious at the appointment of an unknown coach with limited experience, further straining relations with the ownership. Strasbourg had just finished 13th, flirting with relegation.
Did lose on their last visit to La Meno, and it was suddenly...
The start was rough. Before the winter break, Rosenior managed just 4 wins and openly pointed to the late assembly of a very young squad as a key issue. The pressure was intense, but then everything changed. Strasbourg exploded in the second half of the season, losing just once in their final 18 matches.
And the opening goal.
They secured European qualification last season and even established themselves at the top of the Conference League regular phase. The team he built is now considered one of the favourites to win the Conference League, ironically, the same trophy currently held by Chelsea. His commitment to youth, his proactive attacking style, and his in-game management, the ability to change matches from the touchline, were decisive factors for the sporting directors of the current 5th-placed Premier League side. In the Champions League phase, the Blues sit 13th, just 2 points off the top 8. So yes, Rosenior's resume is still short, but his football knowledge, tactical clarity, and adaptability suggests something bigger.
6 years is a long contract. That means they believe in him. They believe in him.
Well, they normally give 8.
Well,
So
they believe in him. 6 years.
I must say,
they believe
it's
in him.
8 for players, I should say.
Chelsea may be looking at the next major coaching revelation, or, given the club's history, the next manager to be dismissed. Let's hope for Chelsea's sake it's the first. But what he will face at Chelsea is a different beast. Inconsistency has defined Chelsea's last 18 months, winning the Europa Conference League and beating Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup final, suggested the project was shifting into a higher gear for the 2025-2026 season. Victories over Barcelona and Liverpool were the highs.
They was absolutely sensational. Out of possession, the way that I would describe them would be like a pack of wild dogs. And leading that pack, no lie, was Cucurella, because he did not give Yamin Lamau one bit of space tonight. When they get on that plane on the way home tonight, Barcelona, before Yamal gets on that flight, Cucurella's going to be in his seat, right?
But draws with Bournemouth and defeats to newly promoted Leeds United and Sunderland were brutal lows.
But then one back in the middle, and it's on the line.
Even so, the foundations are there. Chelsea sit 5th in the table and have a strong chance of reaching the Champions League knockout rounds. The challenge is consistency, especially with such a young squad. But there are few coaches in Europe better equipped to handle that than Liam Rosenior.
But what are we going to do? Are we going to come back to 2-2 when we start the game badly and just take a 2-2 or even lose the game 3-2? Are we going to show some fucking balls and win the game? Okay, so what needs to happen? What needs to happen then? Okay, what needs to happen is when we're defending, every fucker on the pitch has to defend.
In an era where managers are praised for rigid, dogmatic ideas,
we are getting a new coach that is losing more than the last coach. I have full knowledge of that. Like I said, I'm not going to change, no matter what.
Rosenior brings something refreshing: pragmatism. His Strasbourg side regularly changes shape depending on the opponent, switching between a back 3, usually a 3-4-2-1, and a back 4 in either a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Look at how high goalkeeper Mike Penders positions himself. The 20-year-old, on loan from Chelsea, is vital in build-up play, often stepping into the defensive line in possession and acting as a progressive passer. No League One goalkeeper with over 900 minutes averages more touches outside the box than Penders, at 39.4 per 90. Control through possession is central to Rosenior's football. Short, sharp passing defines his teams, and the commitment to that idea is extreme. Across Europe's top 5 leagues, only PSG and Barcelona play a lower percentage of long passes than Strasbourg, with just 6% of their passes travelling more than 35 yards. This tactical flexibility allows Rosenior to tailor his approach, maximise control, and exploit space exactly the balance Chelsea's young squad desperately needs. Strasbourg are not obsessed with slow territorial dominance. Their central progression is not about endless circulation, but about accelerating the moment space appears, creating high-quality chances when the opponent's structure breaks. Take the October match against Brest. The ball moves from Julio Enciso to Samir El Mourabe, who plays a first-time pass into Joaquin Panicelli, dragging Brest's centre-back out of position. At the same time, watch Ben Chilwell, former Chelsea player, bursting down the left. As Brest collapse centrally, El Mourabe finds Chilwell, whose precise cross is finished first time by Sam Amo Ameao. The same pattern appears in Strasbourg's Europa Conference League clash with Crystal Palace. A sharp touch from Valentin Barco finds Sebastian Nanasi in midfield, whose first-time pass pass once again slices open the defensive shape. This time, a third-man run from Diego Moreira allows him to reach the ball and cross for Emmanuel Emega, a player set to join Chelsea next summer to finish first time. It is almost a carbon copy of the previous goal, underlining a clear attacking pattern. This fluid possession allows Strasbourg's players to rotate, lure opponents out of shape, and then explode into the space they have created. The result is not sterile control, but repeated, high-quality chances, exactly the kind of structure Chelsea have been missing. Such is their focus on creating big chances that only Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich create more clear shots than Strasbourg this season. Across Europe's top 5 leagues, Strasbourg average 3.1 clear shots per 90 minutes, a number that places them among the most dangerous attacking teams on the continent. Out of possession, Liam Rosenior has steadily turned his side into a brave, aggressive, high-pressing team full of energy and belief. That was perfectly shown against Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes, where 2 of Strasbourg's 3 goals came directly from high pressure. As Désiré Doué collected a loose ball, Strasbourg squeezed the pitch with real courage, cutting off every passing lane. When Doué released the ball, there were already 6 Strasbourg players matching PSG man for man in the final third. Diego Moreira stepped in to intercept, received the return pass from Valentin Barco, and calmly finished past goalkeeper Lucas Chevalier to put Strasbourg 2-1 ahead in Paris. That same hunger and bravery showed again moments later. Pressing high once more, Diego Moreira won the second ball. Instead of rushing the action, he pulled away from pressure, lifted his head, and slipped a perfect pass through for Joaquin Panicelli, who finished 1-on-1 to make it 3-2 in PSG's own stadium. This level of intensity, both with and without the ball, has to be carefully managed when you consider how young Rosenior's squad really is. Chelsea fans already understand Blue Co's model of investing in youth and increasing player value over time, but Strasbourg take that philosophy even further. With an average age of just 21.9, they have the youngest squad in Europe's top 5 leagues, more than 2 years younger than the next youngest team. And this is crucial. Rosenior is used to working with extremely young, high-potential squads. He understands how to channel their energy, structure their pressing, and turn enthusiasm into a competitive advantage. At Chelsea, youth has often crossed the line into naivety, but everything we have seen suggests that the English coach knows how to work with young talent without losing control. Now the big question is how this game model fits the massive talent Chelsea already have, and which players will be key in helping Rosenior take Chelsea back to where they belong. That is the next step. If I ever had the chance to coach, I would try to combine beauty with practicality, wrote Liam Rosenior back in 2018 in a column for The Guardian. In that piece, he praised not only Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, but also their tactical opposite, Jose Mourinho. That single sentence explains almost everything about Rosenior's football. At Strasbourg, Rosenior has built a team that blends control with aggression. They play possession football, but it is never empty or slow. Their attacks are direct when the moment is right, and that balance is exactly what took them into the UEFA Conference League. Strasbourg do not press wildly in the final third, but they are intense, brave, and quick to hunt the ball. They do not camp permanently in the opposition half, yet they are comfortable keeping the ball for long stretches when needed. They are not a pure counter-attacking side, but they are not slow or passive either. They move through the thirds quickly, choosing the right moment to accelerate. They live in the middle ground, and that is a strength, not a weakness. Flexibility is the heart of Rosenior's approach, supported by clear principles that, on paper, fit perfectly with the squad at Chelsea. Rosenior's Strasbourg want possession with a purpose. Their attacks are carefully built, based on automatisms trained on the pitch. Repeated passing patterns designed to lure opponents forward, invite pressure, and then break lines with sharp, vertical passes. A close comparison is Unai Emery and his Aston Villa. Villa often circulate the ball in their own half, not to slow the game down, but to manipulate space, before exploding into the final third at speed, almost like a counter-attack. This does not mean they are ultra-direct. In fact, Strasbourg registered one of the lowest numbers of counter-attacks in League One, while Chelsea were among the highest in the Premier League. The reason is simple. Rosenior's team prefers to recycle possession rather than allow games to become stretched. They break lines only when they are fully in control, and that is where Chelsea become truly interesting. Chelsea's high number of counter-attacks shows a squad full of pace, power, and transition threat. That means they are well suited to a more flexible, vertical approach. An approach that invites pressure, pulls opponents out of shape, and then cuts through them with speed and precision. Because make no mistake, Chelsea already have the weapons to make this system work, and that is where this story really begins. As we saw earlier, Strasbourg under Liam Rosenior wanted the ball back as quickly as possible, but without pressing relentlessly all over the pitch. 5 teams in Ligue 1 forced more turnovers than Strasbourg's 143, yet only Paris Saint-Germain scored more goals from those turnovers, with 7 compared to Strasbourg's 5. That balance came from a mix of sharp counter-pressing immediately after losing the ball and a compact mid-block. Instead of chasing constantly, Strasbourg often dropped into a 4-4-2 shape. The result was a defence that was far more solid than it looked on the surface, conceding the 4th lowest expected goals figure in Ligue 1 at just over 21. Once again, this shows Rosenior's core idea, beauty with practicality. Strasbourg sat almost exactly in the middle of the league for pressing intensity, with a PPDA of just under 12, showing they pressed when it made sense. Not all the time. This is actually quite similar to how Enzo Maresca set up Chelsea without the ball, although Maresca pushed the intensity even further. Chelsea's PPDA of 10 was the most aggressive in the Premier League. That difference matters. Under Rosenior, Chelsea may defend in a slightly deeper, calmer way at times, but stepping up from a mid-table League 1 side to a club built to win trophies means adaptation is inevitable. And that is exactly what pragmatism looks like, changing the approach to suit the context, even if it leads to more attacking football rather than less. Rosenior could never expect to dominate possession or press relentlessly with Strasbourg. At Chelsea, the landscape is completely different. That is why there are strong reasons to believe he can start well. Chelsea already understands structured possession from Maresca. Adding more verticality under Rosenior should be natural for a team that already counterattacks at speed, and a slightly adjusted, but still intense pressing game would sit comfortably alongside what the players are used to. One potential challenge, however, is Rosenior's use of the goalkeeper. His football is modern and aggressive, and that shows clearly in how high his keeper positions himself. At Chelsea, Robert Sanchez would be expected to step well outside his box in possession, effectively joining the defensive line. The idea is simple: create an extra passing option, overload the build-up, and invite pressure before playing through it. Taking all this into account, Chelsea's squad should enjoy Rosenior's football. Defenders like Wesley Fofana, Trevoh Chalobah, and Levi Colwill, once he returns from injury, are all comfortable playing progressive passes under pressure. If Rosenior sticks with a more consistent backline than Maresca did, those partnerships should grow stronger and handle the invitation to press far better. That said, defensive mistakes caused by a lack of experienced leaders were a recurring issue under Maresca. It is easy to imagine Rosenior, still young and learning at the very top level, facing similar problems. Higher up the pitch, André Santos has impressed recently and was excellent under Rosenior at Strasbourg, but breaking into the team ahead of Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez will be extremely difficult. Their blend of ball winning, possession recycling, and explosive carries through midfield fits Rosenior's ideas almost perfectly. In attack, Rosenior is unlikely to tear everything up. A pragmatic reading of the squad suggests he may move away from the 3-4-3 he often used at Strasbourg and return to a 4-2-3-1, similar to what he employed at Hull City. Cole Palmer would be the natural number 10. With Estevao Willian on the right.
Time as well. Ball in towards Estevao. The touch is good. The shot's even better.
And Pedro Neto on the left. Alejandro Garnacho, who can be slow to track back, may not fully suit Rosenior's more conservative, out-of-possession demands. The likely shape would see Sanchez in goal, Reece James, Fofana, Colwill and Marc Cucurella across the back, Fernandez and Caicedo as the double pivot, Estevao, Palmer and Neto behind Liam Delap. Delap, sharper and more direct than João Pedro, looks the best fit to lead the line, although he will eventually compete with Emmanuel Emega, Rosenior's former captain at Strasbourg. To complete the picture, Cucurella and James, or Malo Gusto, would either push high or step into midfield depending on the opponent. One of Maresca's biggest tactical contributions was his creative use of fullbacks, and Rosenior is almost certain to continue that idea. That, in essence, is Rosenior's task at Chelsea. Not to rip everything apart, but to carry the project forward. Evolution, not revolution. Based on his work at Strasbourg, he will look to turn Maresca's slower, more methodical chess match into a sharper, more purposeful game of possession.